Welcome back to another episode from the Critics Collective. I am Ron, and we are here talking to Sean Combs, P. Diddy, Puff Daddy, Bad Boy, Baby, Can't Stop, Won't Stop. Well, looks like somebody's stopping something. This is Sean Combs, The Reckoning, executive produced by 50 Cent. The only reason why I heard about this is they were like 50 being 50. You know, if you know 50 Cent, 50 is petty. He's petty to a whole nother level. Go listen to the mixtapes from, yes, I'm old, mixtapes from him and Ja Rule with Eminem back in the day. Um, if you like songs like "What Would I Be Without Baby," then tune in to this volume. Anyways, 50 Cent with Floyd Mayweather, Dr. Seuss books. Like, just if there's anybody you don't want to piss off, it's 50 Cent. I feel like 50 Cent would still be this type of person if he wasn't famous, if he didn't have money. I just feel like this is just who this man is. Is also one of the people behind Power and what that has spiraled out and become this comic book of street stories, which I do need to check it out and maybe review. Now, if we get 10 likes, 10, that's 10 likes. All right. If we get 10 likes on this video, I like to think, get the band back together and we'll talk about each episodes. Now, each episode, there's 4 episodes for this. It came out 2025 recently. It's on Netflix only. Each episode's almost an hour. Okay. There's a lot to break down. They talk about everything from Biggie to Pac. They talk about the baby oils. They talk about the drugs. They talk about the allegations. They talk about SA. They talk about his early life and where he's at now. They use real footage, live footage. They do a really good job of connecting some stuff, and we'll come back and talk about each episode. But after 10 likes, okay, so 10 likes, we'll be back. I'm going to go ahead and give you my highs and lows, and then I'm going to go ahead and rate it. And you can tell me in the comments what you think about The Reckoning. Now, hit the subscribe button, like, follow, and comment for more. We'd love to have you join our collective family. Now, with that being said, this is a revealing look at Sean Combs. It's his journey from music mogul to a certain figure that may be behind bars, featuring footage from insiders and from insider accounts that expose both his groundbreaking success with Bad Boy Entertainment and the troubling shadows behind his empire. Let's go with the lows. Lows for this. I wanted more information on the trial. What I mean by that is I felt like they put this together really quick. Okay. I felt like this just the trial kind of came to a close. I think right now he's got 50 months he needs to spend in prison. He didn't get charged for everything, and he's going to get time served. I'm sure some legal stuff will get him out faster. He'll be out, and he'll have to make some adjustments to his life. But I think he's still rich. Take that for what you want. And they make sure to tell you at the beginning and end of every episode. They tell you the legal situation. They tell you how many people have, it's over 100 or about 100, respectfully, that have come forward and said they have been essayed by allegedly Mr. Combs. I say everything allegedly because just I don't know. And so that's a takeaway that I would say. If they would have, I'm not saying spoon feed it, but if you're going to do that and show each episode the same graphic that tells you where we're at in the case, it wasn't like each time this graphic was different. There was 1 or 2 graphics that will pop up and say, hey, this is one of this, and this person still hasn't been heard yet. And you'll have those moments. I get that. And they needed more of that. I should have walked away if that is so important to you to tell me every beginning and end, then you should have made it your effort to tell me where we were at legally. Even if like the first episode should have said, hey, this is what happened. This is what the trial did. Like, you should have finished and been like, the trial went like this. And I have no idea how the trial went. I don't. Because I didn't have time to sit there and watch it, XYZ. I have an understanding of it. I feel like, hey, from what I heard on television, and I was like, hey, he's on the rap for a lot of stuff. They're gonna put him under the jail. If you thought R. Kelly was something, you're like, whoa. If you thought Bill Cosby or Weinstein, whoa. And I ended up finishing and saying, yes, you did tell me a lot about his life and who he was and who people thought he was and things of that nature. But I have no idea how the trial went. So that if you're hope that's one of the biggest things with me. I felt like you just didn't give me anything really on the trial. And not to say it was about the trial, because that's not what it was about. But if that's what the fuck you're gonna show every episode, then you need to anyways. The things I liked about it was it was it was well done. It was like they had a we have a spy on the inside. That's right, 50 Cent's doing it. Apparently Diddy went and got someone to record footage for him um before he was arrested. And allegedly they were able to get a copy of this, and that's why you have what really you never see, a behind the scenes of someone before they're getting arrested. And that is what one of the keystones of what's happening. They basically take all this footage that this person's been doing, and you can hear Sean talking about how he's going to spin this to the press or to the fans, or how he's got to go out there and shake hands and say hi to the people in Harlem and Brooklyn, and then come back and I need whatever fuck hand sanitizer. Whatever. I haven't had coffee yet. Words are hard. But you're watching this person not be who they are in front of the camera. And I thought they did a really good job of piecing it together, bringing in new people for the interviews. And the interview people are people who are not, hey, I was the hairdresser. And there's nothing wrong with being a hairdresser. That's what I'm saying. That's not what I'm saying. I'm saying sometimes you watch documentaries like this and they'll show you a person, but that person, you're like, man, how close was that person? But no, no, no. They went and got basically a family friend, childhood friend. They went and got people that he's worked with early on. That I'll be sure looking like he's never aged. I'll be sure was damn near on a deathbed. He's back. They were just missing, respectfully, Miss Porter and Heavy D to be a part of this, and this would have taken this shit over the top, in my opinion. Obviously, Biggie and Pac would have told a different story, but we're fantasizing here. They do a really good job of making each episode tell a significant story. You know, that first episode is who he is and his upbringing, and maybe that's what makes him who he is. And then you get an episode that talks about Biggie and Pac, and it talks about the conspiracy that Sean could have been the motive behind the unaliving of both individuals. Then you get and that was interesting because it told you how the West and East beef really started versus what most of us know on television, which is the Biggie Pac thing. There's an episode that talks about him dating and the Cassie situation. And those are all impactful because they drop those seeds with certain interviewers that come in and say, hey, look, I was the girlfriend of this person who became this. And you're watching, you're like, oh, I see the pattern. And so they do a really good job of showing him and showing this pattern and putting this together. If you just focus on what you're watching, you're not leading yourself to anything else. You're letting this be truth. I thought it was shot well. I thought it was different for a documentary. You have a lot that come out about Sean Combs. You had the R. Kelly stuff. I haven't really seen Weinstein stuff, but I see Bill Cosby stuff. I haven't really seen the other people's stuff. Anyways, um, the biggest takeaway that I would say from this would be perception. What I mean by this perception is the details were shocking. Who he is as a person, if this is true, allegedly, I'm just saying legally, if this is true, um, and I would have without a shadow of a doubt, if I would have known what happened in the trial. Oh my gosh. Um, Most of us I like to think knew who Diddy was. Like the name changing, there's other, celebrities that do it as well, but some of us kind of know how people move because we live around people, right? We've seen people. Some of us are rooted in certain communities where we know and we see stuff. So I think this will be really shocking to someone. Like there's people Wow, let's see. This is shocking to people who only knew Diddy from television and movies. Like most of us, I don't know anybody in the community. I'm looking around who thought Diddy rapped his own stuff. There's rappers now who don't rap their own stuff and have ghostwriters. So I could see people being shocked who don't know, but I wasn't. I was like, yeah, okay, we know that. We know that. Their conversation of Biggie wanting to leave Bad Boy and go do his own thing. A lot of people didn't know that. So they didn't know that it could have been a motive. They're like, why would anybody think Sean had anything to do with it? I'm like, well, then you didn't know that XYZ was happening or that Biggie and Pac were friends. Like there's footage of them and they show this. There's footage of them being friends. And so to you, I could see it like eye open, like, wow, this could be happening. And wow. But I'm like, no. And then you have Mace and the locks, and you have oh my gosh, Mary J. There's so many artists, Craig, so many artists that some of them passed before this came out, where they were telling people that they didn't get their money. They were telling people that Diddy wasn't who he said he was. You had 50 Cent, who I think went on a radio show and said, hey, he tried to take me out window shopping. You know what I'm saying? He tried to take me out window shopping. You know what I'm saying? I'm not Meek Mills, allegedly. And telling 50 Cent is telling what Diddy said about this, and they kind of go back and forth over the internet on it. And I just I just think a lot of people had no clue who this guy was. So to me, it wasn't as shocking as maybe like the Bill Cosby thing because it was there. It's like Boondocks would have told you episodes about this shit. I'm surprised they didn't. Like the R. Kelly thing. The R. Kelly thing wasn't fucking surprising. Again, it's unfortunate for all the victims on any of these cases, regardless, fame or not. Um, but for a lot of us who are like, they're saying it in their music or they're doing it. There's a thing where there was a party. It was Kevin Hart, not in this documentary. I remember watching shit as a kid, like a young adult. It wasn't TRL or something, but it was Kevin Hart, I think, was throwing this party. This is a time where like MTV was like in everybody's house, like doing like not like MTV Cribs, but like house parties constantly. And he was doing a party, and it was Usher there, and Usher sitting there, and he's like, "Oh, I remember Usher when he was small. We used to wrestle for Frosted Flakes in the bed." And Kevin Hart would be like, "Why would you say that?" And he's saying it like a joke, but a little bit of serious, but also lets you know the tone in the room they're in, where you can see the look on Usher's face. But he's like, "Why? Why? Why would you say that? Who the fuck wrestles in a bed? Who wrestles over cereal? I've never wrestled. I'm telling you right now, I never fucking wrestled over cereal. I've never wrestled over cereal. If you want, put in the comments. I'll do a review on different cereals. I'm a serial killer in that sense, but I've never wrestled for fucking cereal. Okay, get real. Um, so it's just there was another one that I remember watching growing up where it was Justin Bieber, and Justin was sitting there and they were holding Justin. Diddy was holding Justin and saying, "Oh, we're gonna party tonight. You're gonna party for 2 days or some shit like that. It's been crazy." And Justin was like, "Yeah, yeah, we're gonna." It's gonna. I'm like, "Yo, help him. Where the fuck is his kids?" I know people fuck around with Michael Jackson. Have you seen my childhood? Certain people seen shit in this industry. Here's again perception, the word that I want to go with this review. You don't think it's interesting the people that are in this person's life when you watch this documentary? Watch how many people he comes into contact with over his life. And it's some of the same people that are in some shit they're not on TV no more. They're not this like I've said it before with the Bill Cosby thing, the R. Kelly, the Elvis, all this allegedly stuff. The times back then were different times than the times now. We can all agree. But you can be sure the same way they tell you in the beginning of the episode, someone someone teaches you these things. Someone helps you along these things and they talk about it. And I feel like the perception that is the biggest thing that no one I feel is talking about, that he might have learned this from someone. And him, like some of the other people that were victimizing people, you're telling me no one noticed this? No one saw this? No one. No one, right? Yeah, that's a tough buy for me. That's a tough buy. There's a lady in this, I think, named KK towards the end, where I'm like, there's a KK in everybody's situation. There's somebody who knows, and their job is to do XYZ. And I'm like, wow, that's the fucking story. That's that there. But like I'm not we're not ready to have that conversation. Just know 15 minutes of me talking. If you watch this, they're telling you, damn, they're telling you. And I'm telling you what I'm rating this. We rate from a 0 to 5. We're talking about Sean Combs, The Reckoning. This came out 2025. It's on Netflix. It is 4 episodes. Each episode's about an hour. We rate from a 0 to a 5. Okay. This talks about Diddy. Okay. It breaks down kind of his life growing up all the way until he gets arrested. And that's it. I could see them coming out with a sequel. I hope. I hope they come out with a sequel. I hope there's other footage that they have. And they're saying, hey, look, we heard what Ron said. We're going to give you one more episode, and it's just about the trial. It's how did the trial go? What's going to happen now? And now he's been released. He's been released. He's out. And maybe it's not going to happen. But there's an empty chair, and then Sean walks across and he sits down and he's like, "You want to hear my side?" And that's how the episode ends. And just we go from there. But anyways, I'm gonna rate this a 4. One, I think it's important to get stories out, especially if they're true. And what I mean by that is, again, they didn't tell me what the fuck happened on the damn trial. So I don't know. I want to go out there and say, shame on you, you're a bad man. And then find out months from now I was wrong and nothing happened. But I seriously believe something happened. I believe something happened. They went to court. This just real. Then the amount of shit I heard, it was more than some damn baby oil. More than some baby oil. Speaking of baby oil, there was, I feel like rich people move different. Go watch the show from FX. You can catch it on Hulu, Atlanta. I enjoyed that show. There's an episode where uh, Donald Glover, Childish Gambino for some, he's invited to a party. There's a few that they do like this. There's one where they're like, this is kind of like this Drake party, but Drake never shows up. But if it is two separate episodes, there's another one where like rich people are eating at the table and it's just some wild food. I'm not going to spoil. There's some wild things being served, but there's real stories based off of that. I just think when you're around certain people that live a certain lifestyle, that's what their lifestyle is. And sometimes you're not supposed to know it exists. And sometimes you do. And you're like, there's just a complete disconnect. And I feel like as much as we're sitting there like, oh my gosh, and shocked and horror, there are people sitting around saying, this is Thursday night. This is Thursday night. This is Tuesday. This is Sunday, 7 p.m. And you're not going to get all of them. You're not. That's just, it's unfortunate. But damn, man, like, I, I don't know. I rate this a 4. And I just think they did a really good job shooting it. It was a different way to get this kind of footage, to take basically what looks like Diddy asked for and turn it around against him, where he can't use this and say anything. And from what I heard, he wasn't really happy about 50 doing this, but it's a 4. I recommend watching it. 10 likes. Okay. Hit the subscribe button, like, follow, and comment for more. 10 likes. We get 10 likes. We come back. All right. I for sure fucking coming back. I'll talk to Manny and Lingo and Jessica and our West Coast connection, Iris, Keenan, everybody, my day. I don't know if I missed anybody. Everybody on the crew. I'm like, hey, we need to come back. Why? Because I got 10 likes. I'll be here. I don't know about them, but I'll be here to watch this crime documentary and break it down episode by episode. You could have been anywhere in the world and you chose to be here with me, and I greatly appreciate that. Until next time.